So how did Garth make someone as warped as Billy Butcher love a dog? Of course, he made the dog equally twisted. No, the poor fur baby did not have any fault of his own. He just had the fate of being Butcher's dog. And while he actually loved him to death, he also trained the English Bulldog to do some really questionable stuff. Oh, and of course, Butcher named him Terror, because what else screams that he's Billy's pet? Terror was gifted to Butcher after Becky's gruesome death. And in Butcher, Baker, and Candlestick Maker, we see Billy taking Terror to meet his mom. His words? I thought it would be a right pain, looking after a dog, but I'm actually quite enjoying it. I'm teaching him tricks. And these tricks made Terror live up to his name in the comics, unlike in the show, where he often appears as a couch potato. Yeah, things have really changed, and I still can't fathom how Kripke managed to pull it off. Terror did something nasty to a poor Shih Tzu. We meet Terror in the very first issue of the Boys comic, where he's hanging out in a park with Butcher. Towards the end of that issue, Billy meets Huey, whose world has already started going downhill. By the start of the next issue, Butcher and Huey get acquainted, and it all started with Terror. Basically, Huey, who was crying on a park bench, got annoyed by the barks of a Shih Tzu named Benjamin, who was doing his business in the park. Butcher and Huey both made it evident that they disliked such dogs, wee bastards, and to cheer Huey up, he decided to show him a trick. Of course, he had to use Terror for it, and proudly tells Huey to watch the funny thing Terror was about to do, and then 4 words: Terror, mate, fuck it. The dog's face lit up in an uncomfortable manner, and he started drooling. Next thing you know, he's helping poor Benjamin, who belonged to an old lady, and actually enjoying it. Benjamin, on the other hand, was evidently traumatized by what should count as an attack. The old lady called Terror a brute, and Huey was surprisingly amused at the maddest thing he saw in ages. Benjamin absolutely did not deserve. But, who deserved Terror's weird antics? Homelander. And he's up next. When Terror took things too far with Homelander, it's Homelander we're talking about. And you're probably wondering how on earth did a dog take things too far with him? Well, as a matter of fact, he did, and Homelander was both shocked out of his mind and disgusted by it. Fast forward to issue 20. We see Butcher and Homelander in the midst of a heated conversation, and it looks like one of those moments where the big blue baddie would slice Butcher in half with his heat vision. Thankfully, all they do is play a game of hot or cold, as Homelander keeps making guesses about Butcher's personal life, and Terror was just present, like a fiercely loyal companion that he's been to Billy. Only, he wasn't standing there quietly. Even Homelander didn't have a clue as to what the petty dog was doing to him until Butcher said, "You know what old Terror's been doing while you've been walking off to the sound of your own voice?" Smug as always, Homelander asks, "No what?" And within seconds, he looks down to see Terror peeing on his leg. Obviously, he got a good boy praise from Billy, but Homelander was about to kill him if not for Butcher, who already stated that he'll break all hell loose if he lays a finger on Terror, because he wasn't just a dog, he was Butcher's dog. Terror became a weaponized attack dog for Butcher. As we keep on reading the Boys comics, certain things become clear. 1. Terror meant the world to Butcher, and he would often ask him to stay put in situations where incoming attack might threaten the dog's safety. 2. Terror was a weapon Butcher used whenever it was convenient. Issue 32 of the comics, whose cover itself tells you that the focus of it is on Terror, and a soup called Crimson Countess saw one of the most R-rated deaths in the storyline. Crimson Countess belonged to the Vought-sponsored team Payback, and in the 3rd season of the show, she was blasted to death by Soldier Boy's radioactive blast. However, in the original version of Ennis, we see the boys getting into a fight with some members of Payback, and Crimson Countess sweeps in too. She causes quite a ruckus and delivers a brutal blow to Huey, and things are really not looking good for Butcher's gang. Stormfront has MM in a dangerous chokehold, and Crimson Countess is ready to further beat Huey. Right then, Terror pounces on Crimson Countess and bites her arm and tears off her flesh. The Scarlet Witch spoof soup is furious, and Billy tells Huey to take Terror out of the scene. However, Crimson Countess can't accept the insult that a dog has the audacity to attack her, and though she manages to throw him off, she wants revenge. So she chases Terror into the basement, getting separated from the rest of her team. She keeps on abusing Terror, who's now just standing there and intimidating, giving Butcher the perfect opportunity to launch a surprise attack against her and strangle her to death with his belt. Terror is trained to do it with anything and everything. Yeah, the fluffy little Shih Tzu is just a starting glimpse into what Butcher's made Terror into. The command has been used by Butcher again and again throughout the various issues where Terror has been asked to hump random things or even just been used as a threatening device. It became a running gag in the comics, but some panels made you really wonder what Butcher did to a dog by teaching him to do it with random stuff at random time. As I said, Kripke actually had the guts to show some of it on screen. Whoa, Terror was a nightmare for the CIA director. Kessler is a CIA analyst who's nicknamed as Monkey and serves as an informant for Billy Butcher. Despite him being constantly bullied and belittled by Butcher, he rarely talks back and continues to assist him. However, over time, he climbs up the ladder within the CIA and is in a position to become the future director. And guess what? He's now planning to turn against the boys. But in The Boys issue 51, that plan completely backfires when Butcher corners him while he's tied to the bed in a face-down position. Yeah, sexual kinks. Butcher starts blackmailing him about being open-handed when it comes to expenses or trying to interfere in his work. And while the man does say a meek okay, Butcher's not satisfied. He says that terror is right here and asks him to do, yeah, Butcher used terror to assault a human being. I'm not really sure what to make of that, except the fact that The Boys is on a whole different level of deranged. Alright guys, that's all for today. I did read The Boys a couple times, but reliving what Terror did still icks me out, man. But for what it's worth, he's always been the best companion The Boys or Butcher ever got. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this video, don't forget to share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next one.